Good morning everyone, and welcome to this video, this tutorial. In this tutorial I'll show you how to create an app connected to Firebase and do the necessary steps to do, like, insert into the database, update the database, and delete from the database, the normal operations that you would do with the Firebase. In addition to that, we will do something for log in and log out, so that will help you with preparation for your exams or your project. So I have created a project called FireBase2025, and it has nothing in it. This is what you would do when you create a normal project. In here I have Firebase project. I already have it enabled in it, Firebase database and authentication. So in the authenticate, let's go with the we've done this before, so you can use any project that you've created. I have already one. If you don't have one, create one, and you're gonna be able to add the authentications from here and the database store from here. But since I already added them, they are already in this project. So what I'm going to do, we'll select the authentication, and I'm going to select what method I wanted to use for signing up. So email password disabled, so I'm going to make that enabled. So now users can sign in with their username and password. Okay, so if you go back to users, there's no users defined yet. You can add user, for example, just for testing purposes. So you can say ali@abc.com, fictitious name, and then you can put any password. The password has to be 6-digit long, so you can say A12345 and then add user. Okay, so that's the first step. This is how you create a user. The other thing that you need to do is that you need to set up your database. How do you set up the database? You go to Firebase Firestore, okay, Firestore, and then you need here to add a collection. Now, a collection is like a table. In here, you can add a collection. I already have a collection in my project, but I can add as many collections as I want. So if I add a new collection, if I click on Start, and then here is the collection ID. I'm going to call it, for example, the project we're working on is called Cars. So I'm going to click on Cars, and then I'm going to add a few fields for the car. Now, I already have an example, so let me pull it out. Here is the example. So let me go back to Firebase, and I'm gonna have the car make. Okay, you can call it. So the type, for example, is a model number. So you can give it any ID, for example, for now. So I'm gonna give it ID 1, and the fields that I'm gonna have are called make. It's a string, all right. And then I am gonna have a value in here, and let's just call it Mazda for now. The value, and then you click on save, and you can add another field, and then this second field is going to be model, and then this is gonna be Mazda 3. Just call it model 3, and then let's add another field. This is gonna be a price, for example. Then here you can make it a number, and then here you just give it a value, and then add another field, for example, and this is going to be the plate number, and it's a string, or you can make it a string as well, D12345. Okay, and then you click on save. Now what happens in here, you're gonna have cars, and you're gonna have a first collection, one collection, but you need to add more collections. Okay, so how do you add more collections? You can add more collections by clicking on the plus sign. Now for the rules, you can click on the plus sign here, so you can add more fields in here. So let's add another one again the same way, so we can add the document. This one is going to be 2, And the fields, you need to use the same fields as in the other one, same type. Obviously, you don't want to make them different. Okay. And this is going to be BMW, and then add another field. And this is the make, the model is going to be 520. And then you can add another field here. You can add, this is going to be the price, and then the model number, it's a number, and then it's gonna be here a little bit more. The value is going to be let's say 80,000, and then you can add another field, and then this is going to be I don't think I put a year in the other one. All right, let's just put the plate number. We can add always the field plate, and then the 555. Okay, save. Okay, so now I got 2 make sure that they all have the same make, model, plate, price, make, model, plate, price. Okay. All right, so I got my database set up. I added the record and the rules. In the exam, you want to make sure that you take a screenshot of this. Now, I have, because when you created it the first time, you make it, for example, you can say it is a test or production mode. Now, if it is a test mode, okay, Firebase allow, okay, open shell, cloud shell, you don't have to do that. But typically here, when you create the database, it will tell you what rules you have for the database. For the most part, you can set it up here by ID, and then in the documentations, in the labs, you could do that. Otherwise, you make it as a test mode, and that is fine as well. Okay, so that's where you do that in the rules. Type in here. Well, let's say we set up the authentication. We set up the Firebase. Now I want to add an app to this project. So what do we do? How do we add an app to this project? What you do, you click on the project, test project. We're done with that. Here is my test project, and here are the apps. So after you set up the authentication and the database, now I want to add an app to this one. So how do you do it? You click on the plus. I'm using iOS, so I'm going to select iOS. Now you need to get these details from your project that we are working on. Here is my project. Here is the information that I'm going to need. From here, you have the signing information. Okay, so I'm going to put them side by side so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so what I need first, I need the bundle identifier. So you do that from the project, signing in capability, and this is the bundle identifier. So I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste it in here. The rest are optionals. So I'm going to click on register the app. What will happen, it creates this file. This file is important, so you need to download it and add it to your project. So how do we do it? You click on this, and now if you open downloads, you'll see this project here. Now the project name is wrong here because I have downloaded it multiple times. What you're gonna need to do, you add it to the project and name it into your projects. So if it doesn't have this 2 in it, it would have been fine. But I'll show you how to fix it in the Xcode. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm drag it in here into the project, copy file destination if needed, yes. Here is the name of the project. Now if I try to use this as is, it will give you a problem. So what do? You rename it, you rename this, you right click on this, and there is a rename, there is no rename. Anyway, all you do is that you click on it twice, then you are allowed to edit it. So what you need to do, you delete everything until the O. Now, if you have downloaded it the first time, it's fine. You don't need to do anything else. So now you're done. Okay. So I've added it to the project, and then if I go back to the console, you'll see they're telling me the steps that I need to do. So I did that part. Then I'll do next. What do? We need to add the Firebase libraries into my project. So I'm going to copy this, and then they tell you what to do. You go to Xcode. In the Xcode project, you go in here, add packages. Firebase is already here selected for me. If it is not, you do it here, you add it in here, and you paste the link here, and then you click on add packages. It's gonna download all the packages available in Firebase. What you need to do, you need to wait a little bit until it downloads it. Now, depending on the file speed, the net speed, sometimes take a little bit of time, okay? Let me pause recording while we are waiting for this. Okay, so what happens, it finished downloading these, made them available. Now what do you need to select from the list? So the first thing that you need to do is a Firebase Analytics. You include it into your project. When you click on this, it will give you the list of the project. The next thing we need to do is a Firebase authentication. So you click on this, and then you have Firebase authentication. The other thing that we're going to need is Firebase Firestore. So you click on that. And if you're doing any storage, you do Firebase storage as well. And you click on add packages. Now you can see that it start downloading those packages, and this process usually takes a little bit of time. Now I go back to the project, and it says click on next, and it tells you what to do with the second part. Now we're not using Swift UI, we're using Swift. So I'm gonna do Swift here, and it tells you need to go to the app delegate application. So to connect your Firebase and initialize it, you need to go to the app delegate file, which is in here. This is the app delegate. And in here, we need to add, selected core data. I don't need core data, but anyway, I need to add here import Firebase core, okay? Just like they give me here, Firebase core, okay? What else we need to do? We need to add this line. You can copy it from here if you want. Firebase configure in the app did finish launching function. So here is the function where it says did finish launching function. In here, I need to do paste Firebase configuration. All right. Now, that's all you have to do to test it and make sure it works. So now if I do Command B or compile or run, this part takes a little bit of time, but we need to make sure that this part is at least done. Okay. If it's okay, and then you go back to here, it says next. What's the next step? It says basically run your application, continue with the console. We're done. So we set it up, we linked it up, we created a project, we linked it up. The next part is that I'm gonna go to the Xcode in the next part, and then create the screen to add, for example, a car on the Firestore, okay? So I am going to do that. I'm going first to pause here, and then we'll go to the next. I'm creating another video for you, okay? I'll see you in the next video.